So there's been a lot of talk back and forth on the interwebs about the future of physical gaming and the price of certain consoles, and I don't usually tend to weigh in too much these days on current events and news topics. I like to just do my own thing, but I really wanted to weigh in on why I will not be buying a Switch 2 at launch, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I couldn't get one, because I absolutely could have got one. But I don't know, man. The future of gaming is just looking more and more like it's just not going to be on consoles for me. And what I mean by that is 2.5 years ago now, I bought a Steam Deck, and I started exploring the world of Steam. What the heck is going on over here? Oh, my browser's been updated. Fantastic. 2.5 years ago, I started exploring the world of Steam, and since then, I have bought a pretty good gaming laptop here. I have the Steam Deck, I've bought the ROG Ally, and I absolutely love the ecosystem on Steam. And, I've got like 250 games on Steam now, and most of them have come from seasonal Steam sales where they were $5, $10, $15 for fantastic games. You just would not find anywhere else. So, leading into the Switch 2 generation, I had a ton of hype for the new Switch because I love my Nintendo Switch. I love the fact that it created the entire market that the Steam Deck exists in. I I love the Switch. I mean, what can I say? It's one of, if not my most favorite console of all time. Fantastic library, fantastic physical media, so much fun to collect for. I love it. Uh, I was so excited for the Switch 2 in the years leading up to its release. I mean, we had been waiting for 2 years or more for this thing to get announced, and when it finally does, it was kind of a lunch bag letdown. Uh, you know, we wanted the Switch 2 to be more of the same, but when we actually found out that it was going to be more of the same, I'm thinking, okay, they announced a Mario Kart. Don't really care that much about Mario Kart. I mean, I'll buy it eventually, I guess. They announced a Donkey Kong game that, okay, it looks cool, but it's nothing I'm going to run out and purchase a console for. And all the third party stuff they announced, things like Cyberpunk and, things like that, I can already play on arguably better devices like my ROG Ally. All of the third party games are already on other platforms, and I don't have to pay 70, 80, $100 for those versions because I already have superior versions at home on other devices. Barring the ROG Ally, my laptop is powerful enough to play pretty much anything at 2K resolution that the Switch 2 would play at 1080p. Now, the Switch 2 does have some upscaling and stuff, but I can run DLSS and stuff on my laptop. So, I just don't see the pressure here to really move forward into the next generation. And then we get into the whole physical media debate. I love physical media. I love collecting and putting things on my shelf and organizing them. I love going out and hunting for games. I love going to conventions. I love shopping online, Video Games Plus and things like, Play Asia and discovering new things that I maybe never heard of. And like the whole process of buying and collecting physical media is just one of my favorite things in the hobby in general. And it's going away, folks. Like Microsoft has been pushing and pushing and pushing to push everyone towards Game Pass. They don't want to sell games anymore, at least not on their own platform. They want to sell Game Pass. They want you to subscribe forever to play the newest games and the older games. And you know what? Sometimes I do subscribe to Game Pass for a month or two, check a couple games out, and then unsubscribe. But it's just not the way I want to consume games. It's mostly how I check out a game and see if I like it, and then go out and buy it myself on another platform, probably. The Switch now has introduced these physical game key cards, and it's looking like a substantial amount of the future library is going to be on these game key cards. And what is a game key card? It is a key. It is literally a key to open a door. You put the thing in, it downloads the game, which you shouldn't have to do with physical media, but you put the thing in, it downloads the game. And then every time you go to play the game, you have to put the cartridge in just like it was physical media. But guess what? It's a digital game. It is not on that cartridge. You do not own the game. God forbid internet is not an option for you at that particular time. You wouldn't be able to download a new game if your internet's out, or if you're in a cabin in the woods or something. That game is useless to you. And I can't describe how disappointing that is for physical collectors who love the idea of 20 years from now, 15 years from now, just like with the DS, being able to buy a cartridge off a shelf at a game store, pop it in, and it just works. Physical media needs to be that. And if it's not that, it doesn't have a point to exist. And I think that's what these big companies want now. They want physical media to go away. They want to take the control away from the consumer. They want to be able to resell these games over and over and over again. They don't want you to keep your game for 20 or 30 years and replay it at your leisure. Of course, now I'm getting all kinds of notifications because I didn't turn off my airplane mode or whatever. But yeah, that's the thing. I just can't justify spending the new prices that Nintendo's announced of up to $80 per physical game, digital or physical, but $80 for a not physical game that's on a physical key that is less convenient than digital, because now I have to carry around this useless cartridge that does not contain the game, which means the storage on my console now has to hold every game I own. Like craziness. I own 120 physical Switch games. If I had to install all of those, I would need like a 6 terabyte hard drive. You can't get a 6 terabyte hard drive for the Switch because it doesn't accept hard drives. It's portable. All you get is the 64 gigs in the OLED console, plus whatever size your SD card is, up to a terabyte. Mine happens to be 512. So I have like less than 600 gigs of storage on my Switch. I have like 100 digital games, most of which are tiny little indie games, and I can't even install all of those. Never mind the 120 physical games that I own. If I had to install every single one of those games to have them playable at a moment's notice, I just wouldn't be able to. And now on the Switch 2, that's exactly what you're going to have to do. It comes with 256 gigs, and then it takes more expensive SD cards. Anything much more than 256 gigs of the new Express SD cards are quite expensive, so you're going to have 512. And what's 512 going to do for you when games are coming at 50 gigs, 40 gigs, 60 gigs, or more? God forbid the new Call of Duty that launches at the end of the year on this console, probably going to be over 100 gigs, and that's like a third of your storage right there. It's just not ideal, folks, and I am not motivated to go out and buy this console right now. I have other devices that can play these games. I have a PS4 that can play a lot of the games that the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 will currently be playing. I have my PC devices. So I'm just not motivated by these third-party games, especially seeing as more and more frequently now, we're seeing less third-party exclusives. Third-party games are going to as many platforms as possible, indies as well. They're going to as many platforms as possible, and there are less and less reasons to own one specific console except for Nintendo with their first-party exclusives. And don't get me wrong, I will eventually buy a Switch 2 because they have me by the balls. They won't share their exclusives, and that's probably a good thing for them. I get it. So when another Zelda comes out, barring anything unforeseen, I'm probably going to want to play it. When another Animal Crossing comes out, I'm definitely going to want to play it. There are games, Monolith games, whatever comes of the Xenoblade franchise, I'm going to want to play. So at some point, I'm going to have to buy this console to move forward with the franchises that I love. But at this point in time, I just don't see the value proposition there. There are no games that I really care about enough to spend the exorbitant price on this new console. And if I was going to spend upwards of what amounts to $700 Canadian plus tax, I would probably buy another PC handheld. Although right now, I'm spending money like crazy on older games, let's say. I won't necessarily call things like the Wii and the PS3 retro, but older games. And I am enjoying the heck out of collecting for the Wii, and one of my next videos on this channel is going to be a Wii collection video because I just started collecting for the Wii at the beginning of this year, and we're less than 6 months into the year, and I already have like 40 games that I'm excited to show. Moving forward, being an early adopter sometimes is not for the best. At the beginning of the Switch generation, I played Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, and I absolutely loved it. Now, I've been an early adopter of certain things, but for the most part, I tend to wait a couple of years and see what becomes of the console and its library, and I think that's what I'm going to do at this point. Barring some kind of amazing blowout of software that I can't predict right now, I probably won't pick up the Switch 2 until we see some kind of revision, like a Switch Plus, Switch Lite, Switch OLED, whatever, probably in a couple of years or so. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for sticking around with me here. What do you think about the Switch 2? Are you going to buy one? And no shade if you are. If you are super excited about Mario Kart, if you're super excited about the possibilities of the Switch 2 and you don't have one of these PC handhelds like I do, like I'm blessed to have been able to pick those up, in the moment, and if you don't have those and your only way to access these titles, these third-party titles, is the Switch 2, I think it's a good value proposition for you. And if I was in your position, with this being my only, hybrid console, I would probably be excited for it. But for me, now is not the time. And I just want to, come in here and discuss that with you because I will not be creating a bunch of hype content over the next year or so talking about Switch 2 releases. You're going to see me talking about my PS3 dad episodes. You'll see me talking about the Wii. You'll see me talking about pickups on the original Switch. And that's just what's going to happen here. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay classy.